If you feel like your financial goals are unattainable or out of reach, you're going to want to watch the entirety of this video where we're going over 4 simple steps that you can do to gain control and confidence when it comes to your personal finances. So let's just jump right into step 1, but before we get into it, we have to back up and add a little more context because life recently has been challenging from a personal finance perspective. First, there was the pandemic and all the challenges that stemmed from that, which led right into one of the highest inflation periods in the United States, making it much harder for everyday people to afford to live. It's gotten so hard that a recent survey found over half of Americans, 56% to be exact, don't know how they would pay for a $1,000 emergency expense. To me, this is very alarming, but fixable. And if I had to guess, I'm assuming that most of these people are not being intentional when it comes to their personal finances, bringing us to the first step, which is track. It seems so simple, I know, but this is literally the first step that everyone needs to take. You won't be able to achieve your financial goals if you don't know how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, and most importantly, how that money is being spent. So I challenge you to make a budget and include everything that touches your bank account. Now, this is not meant to be some sort of guesstimation exercise because let me tell you from my own personal experience, you will underestimate significantly how much you're actually spending. When I did this exercise, I thought to myself, yeah, we probably spend about this on groceries every single week. But when I actually started to track it, my guesstimation was off by $40, which amounted to $160 a month. That is very significant, and remember, that is only one expense category. I have a free budget template for you down in the description of this video, so if you've never filled out a budget, it comes with step-by-step instructions and a video tutorial to help walk you through it, so make sure you go check that out. Oh, did I mention that it was free? It's important to keep in mind that the more months you do this consecutively, the larger sample size that you'll have, giving yourself a truer representation of your actual expenses. And from there, you could start to see some trends which will help you plan better for future months. Okay, so at this point, you're probably asking yourself, who the heck is this and why should I be listening to him? Well, if this is our first time meeting, my name is Chris and I've been an accountant for 10 plus years. So I understand the importance of having a positive relationship with money, how to plan for the current, how to plan for the future. And from a personal finance perspective, just know that whatever you want to accomplish, you are way closer than you think you are. I know this because I too had my own personal finance challenges, like having $43,000 in debt, which I paid off in under a year, and now debt-free. And honestly, it's all thanks to these 4 steps, these really 4 simple words that I know can help change your life and move it in the direction that you want. Okay, so you've tracked your monthly expenses, but now how do you turn this budgeting process into a sustainable mindset shift? That is step 2, which is to plan. The word plan itself is very vague, so let's break it down in different ways so you can attack step 2. In order to plan, you need a measurable goal to work towards. Measurable meaning that it is very easy to determine if you've achieved that goal or not. So for example, just saying, I want to pay down debt is your goal. It's not very measurable and it allows you to have a more relaxed approach with a huge gray area. Sure, you can look at your debt and be like,
oh, see, it's going down. I am paying off debt. Goal accomplished.
No. A much better goal would be, hey, I want to be debt-free in 12 months. Now, this is a much more measurable goal that you can focus your attention towards. So that would be an example of a short-term goal, anything that's under a year. Some other good ones could be maintaining your budget process for 12 consecutive months or saving X dollars towards your emergency fund. But equally as important is creating a list of long-term financial goals because the best motivation in the short term is having a bigger carrot dangling out in front of you. While it's great to save up for that emergency fund, it's not really that sexy and it certainly shouldn't be your long-term goal, right? So let's think a little bigger, and sometimes with this, the more outlandish the goal, the better. For you, that could mean maybe buying your first home. If you already have your first home, it could be buying an investment property, or it could be something like you want to retire your parents earlier. Whatever the goal is, just know that you are much closer to it than you actually think and are a few intentional steps away. Here's another way that we can look at planning, and it ties back in with the first step, which was to track. Many people think that the fastest way to get more money is to ask for a raise at work, look for another job, or maybe start a side hustle on the weekend, all of which those are great, by the way. But actually, the fastest way to get more money, like tomorrow is to reduce your expenses. A fun way to do this is by taking all your expense categories that you created during your budget and now separate those into two separate lists, your need list and your want list. Your need items are obvious, things like your housing, utilities, transportation, things that you need to survive on a day-to-day basis. Whereas your want list, they're more minor luxuries and they do add up financially, like having subscriptions to the 1,247 different streaming services that are out there, paying $2,000 for nosebleed seats at a Taylor Swift concert, and ordering dinner 3 nights a week with Uber Eats. Use that kitchen of yours. I know you have one. The only way anything in this planning step works is if you're honest with yourself. The faster you realize what's holding you back, the faster you can reach that dangling carrot, which transitions very nicely into the next step. It's almost like I planned that or something. So far, you've tracked your expenses, created a sustainable plan going forward, but now watch out. Step 3 is here and it's time to adjust. Life, huh? Putting a wrench into anything and everything it can get its hands on, which is why flexibility is going to be so important to your financial success. So when life does throw you that wrench, your personal financial plan needs to be able to adapt. The importance of regularly reviewing and adjusting your plan cannot be emphasized enough, which is why it's critical that you have someone with you every step of the way. Right, that's me. I'm offering one-on-one personal finance coaching. So if you think your financial goals are out of reach, are struggling with debt, trying to save money every single month, but don't seem to have any left over, or are living paycheck to paycheck, check out the link in the description for one-on-one coaching where I know I can help you go from confusion to confidence. Which brings us to the final step, which is succeed. Now, this does not mean just because you pay down your debt or have a better understanding of your personal finances that you've succeeded and this whole journey's over. Not so fast. Don't get me wrong, you should be thrilled when you have small wins, huge wins, but success now is that you've actually shifted your mindset, you've shifted your lifestyle, and there's no turning back. That's what success looks like. This is going to be the new version of you. A big misconception is that personal finance is a math problem. And yeah, sure, there's going to be math involved. There's obviously numbers flying all over the place, but it's actually not true because it's more of a behavioral problem. So once you take that mindset shift from, hey, I don't know how to do numbers to, oh, I just need to change my behavior, it's going to change your focus and it's going to help you out in the long term. Speaking of behavioral problems, debt is the largest behavioral problem in the personal finance space. If you're struggling to tackle your own debt and don't know where to start, I made a video talking about how to create your own debt tracker step by step from scratch. And it includes strategies to consider before making your next debt payment. And it also shows you how to figure out the exact month you'll become debt free. So if that interests you, make sure to check out this tutorial here.